Welcome to Wedding Waffle, a very chatty podcast with three industry professionals covering all things wedding, including your dilemmas, shocking stats, and just general wedding chit-chat. Get cosy and join us as we discuss anything and everything to do with weddings. Absolutely nothing is off limits. Brought to you by Bouquet and Bells, together with Flowers at the Dutch Barn and the Red Rose Cake Company. Welcome to episode 3 of Wedding Waffle. I am Claire from Bouquet and Bells, joined with Caroline from Flowers at the Dutch Barn.
Hello.
And Julie from the Red Rose Cake Company.
Hello.
So, we are back waffling on again. I hope you've gone and listened to episode 1 and 2. If not, go and listen to those and then come back. We introduce ourselves a little bit more in episode 1. But yeah, we'll just get straight into it. So, first topic for this episode is all about wedding dresses. So, according to online stats, brides visit an average of 3 bridal boutiques and try on an average of 12 wedding dresses before finding the one. Do you think there's a lot of pressure on the wedding dress shopping experience and finding the dress? Julie?
I think there probably is. I think body image and body shaming is such a experience that so many of us have had that I think it's really a dodgy topic, isn't it? I was mature, so I was 50 when I married Paul, and so I didn't fit into the bride shop. Going into a bridal shop filled me with dread because there was all these really modern, beautiful gowns, but none of them were going to suit me. I was never going to look right in that sort of dress, and I ended up leaving fairly swiftly, feeling really upset, quite emotional about it, because I just felt like that doesn't fit me. And then on the other hand, you're looking at maybe the mother of the bride type wear, which again, I didn't feel I was old enough for that. I didn't feel like, a dress and jacket was what I wanted to wear. And I found it really difficult. And then somebody suggested going to like an event dress company where it was like evening wear, and I think I tried 2 dresses on there, and mine, although it wouldn't fit around my leg because it was so small, was just the one. And she let me take a picture, and I sent it to my daughter and said, what do you think of this? Because it was ivory and black, and I didn't know if black was appropriate. But everybody was like, it's gorgeous. Completely different to what I'd anticipated. But I fell in love with it. And in fact, last year, I don't know if you remember, that Amanda Holden did her Wear Your Wedding Dress in the Garden in the first lockdown. Yeah. And I did mine. I wore mine in the garden and did chainsawing and all sorts with it. But it was gorgeous to wear it again. It was just lovely. But I think even for somebody at my age, my maturity, my feeling sure about who and what I am, I found it very, very difficult. I found it quite emotional, quite upsetting. So I'm sure if you're young, there may be more choice, but I think that hinders in its own way.
You can have too much choice as well, can't you?
How did you find it when you were looking?
I struggled, to be honest. I knew what I wanted. I'm very particular. I like very soft fabrics and what have you. But I was very, I found it hard. I went to quite a few shops, and I felt quite a bit of pressure from the shop owners and some of them, that I had to choose a dress that was not in my repertoire, not what I wanted. And I didn't feel very comfortable with some of the shop owners themselves either. So I couldn't get out there quick enough for some of them. But then where I found my dress, the lady was my age. She made me feel very comfortable. I didn't feel exposed in any way. She gave me the time that I needed. But I went with just one person to my appointments, someone that was brutally honest, and that was where
that's a very smart move.
Yeah, because I didn't want all this. Oh, you look wonderful. And actually, I didn't. I needed brutal honesty. And when it came down to, there was 2 dresses at 2 shops. And then I took my best friend, who lives quite a long way away, I dragged her over. And we did one shop in the morning, and she basically gave me her honest opinion. Then we did the other shop in the afternoon, so we did it both on the same day. Just those 2 dresses, no others. And then I was then trying to convince her of the one at that point, and she was like, I think you're trying to convince me. And she said, do you want to go away and think about it? And I was like, nah. But then the lady in the shop was like, are we saying yes to the dress? And I was like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I was like, no, not saying those words. I was like, it'll do. But then, because I'd looked at so many dresses, and I still do now because people show me their dresses, I'd looked at so many, but I now don't look at other dresses unless obviously a bride is showing me her dress, but I don't look at them anymore, whereas before I was constantly researching, so now I know that is the one that was right for me.
But you could second doubt yourself, couldn't you, if you research too much? Then you can overdo it. And even though I chose my dress in November 2019, I still haven't looked at any others, and it's probably going to be another 2 years before I get to wear it now. So it's kind of like, but I won't change it. But mine can be altered, so they make it to fit you. It's quite bespoke in that respect. But I needed something that fit my body shape and what have you. And got to feel comfortable.
Yes, it's all about that. So there is a lot of pressure on it though, because everybody's eyes is on you and the groom.
I think also taking an entourage is not a good idea, because there's no 2 people that have the same opinion.
No, you just get clashing of opinions. It will confuse you. You'll be thrown off. I think it'll be too much. It'll become too much.
How did you choose yours?
Well, I actually went on Say Yes to the Dress.
Oh, yes, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, so I was forced to say, are you saying yes to the dress? And because they did a UK series, I saw myself and David Emmanuel.
Oh, really? You went down to, is it Confetti and Lace?
Yes, in Essex. Yeah.
Oh.
It was the weirdest experience ever, because I felt it was so high pressure, but it was very obvious, really from the off, but very obvious more so when I got there, that it was all for the cameras.
Right.
All for the cameras. It wasn't about what I wanted. I would be plonked in a dressing room, and David Emmanuel would go shopping for me based on what he thought I would like. And he plonked me in dresses. I just felt like I was in something that wasn't me. It wasn't anything I would wear. Forced out in front of friends and family to stand on a little platform, and they had to sort of do this thing where they closed their eyes, they couldn't see the front of me, so when the cameras were on, then they'd see a big reveal, and they were kind of forced to say brutally honest things, really, for the sake of the cameras. And the fact that I was wedding planner was I was made out to be fussy and all these sorts of things. It was just very uncomfortable and weird, but I put myself in that position. You know, I did it because I thought, oh, what the hell, it might be a laugh. I said yes to a dress, but I didn't buy it.
Right.
Said it for the cameras.
Were you told to say yes to the cameras?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So don't believe every bride you see on that programme that says yes to the dress. And also,
thank God, because some of them look awful.
Yeah. And it was.
I feel better now.
And it was 3 times the budget. So in the end, I went and got my dress from a pre-loved shop in Liverpool. It was second hand, and it was the designer Maury Lee that I'd always had my heart on. And I just saw this bridal shop uploaded a picture of the dress on a mannequin, and I just thought, that's my dress, that's me, that's what I've wanted from the start. Went to try it on, and he tried on the one dress, came away with it.
Awesome.
Half the price of if
what
it would have been. Yeah. So happy.
And have you given it back to be pre-loved again then?
No, I've still got it in the wardrobe. Yeah, but it's something quite nice to think about keeping your dress, so I didn't really want to part with it. So we did a poll on this, and we asked, do you think there's a lot of pressure on the wedding dress shopping experience? And 62% said yes, so stressful.
That's quite high, isn't it?
It is stressful.
Yeah,
though. Like,
I
I went to one shop with them, and the lady that owns the shop, I actually went to school with her. We used to sit next to each other on the bus. So we know her very, very well. Known her a very long time, and I took a friend with me. And every dress, she said I looked amazing in, and I was like, no, I don't. I look rubbish. You're rubbish. You're useless. You're not helping me. But she cried and everything. I was like, stop it. Because as lovely as it is, you don't feel that in every dress. And I think with some bridal shops, they make you try something that you know will not suit you. And I'm a big advocate of try everything on, find out what style suits you. But some things I would not touch it with a barge pole because I know it doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
So don't make me try something on that doesn't
Yes.
suit me.
When
It's
there's-
obvious.
When there's so many dresses in the shop that
Yes.
you would look great in and you'd suit and
Yeah,
be comfortable
exactly.
in. And
Yeah.
if you know what you want, then I think that needs to be
yeah,
taken into
I
account.
think so. And obviously things change, so you tweak shoulder straps and what have you. But
Yeah.
I think you've got to go in and pick out what you want to try.
I think you know when you put it on. I knew when I put on that dress, that was me. I just knew it was me. And okay, it may not have been a traditional wedding dress. I'm not known for being traditional, you know, but I just knew that style of dress suited me and it fitted me, and I felt comfortable and I felt beautiful, and that should be all that matters.
Yes.
That when you put it on, you know this is it.
You need to decide rather than everyone else decide for
Yes,
you.
and I think your face, when you try on a dress, your instant facial expression reaction can tell a lot for how you're feeling, and people need to look at you and take that into account. Yeah.
Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
No, exactly. It's what you think. So, leading on from that then, did you end up with the style of dress you thought you would get, Caroline? I think you mentioned
I did, yeah.
You did,
Yeah. Less blingy, but
But pretty much bang on.
pretty much bang on, yeah.
Same.
Actually, no, the neckline was slightly different, but hey, if you've got it, flaunt it.
Yeah.
Right, so there's no front on your dress then.
It's just a skirt. But pretty much bang on. Yeah, and you?
Yeah, what about you?
I
Julie?
didn't. I really didn't. I thought I was going to go for something. I felt like I should go for something like knee high or simple because I was getting married again, and so I shouldn't go for something. And then I ended up with this fishtail ivory dress with black bejewelled. I mean, it was just completely the opposite. But
There's something great about that, though.
absolutely, I just adored it, and I still do when I take it out. I love it.
Do you wear it apart from when you do
Apart from
the
when I'm
chainsawing?
doing the chainsaw. and
Do you hoover the house with it?
I
would do
put it
that.
on to
I would do
hoover.
that.
Every now and then I've taken it out just to look at it. I don't know what to do with it because obviously I put on a little weight since then. It killed me to where I nearly stopped breathing when I did it in the garden. But I would really like, it's a sort of dress that somebody could wear for a prom. It's not a wedding dress.
An occasion.
And so I'd really like to donate it to somebody that I think hasn't perhaps had the chance to get their prom dress or something.
Yeah.
I would like to donate it, I
That's
think.
a good idea.
So that's what I've been looking at, since last year is really like somebody to go and feel like Cinderella in it, because it is magical, and I think that is what every bride should feel.
Yes.
Doesn't matter that
Absolutely.
I was 50. I think that some of my older brides that I've married, more mature brides should I say, that I've been at their weddings, they have looked spectacular.
My stepmom, she thought she was the same as you when she married my dad 10 years ago. She thought, I'll have to wear a suit, and she didn't. She had a satin ball gown, and she looked stunning. And I had a bride in October. Again, she wore a proper full-on wedding dress. He wore tails, and he looked amazing. Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
absolutely.
It's wedding day.
Well, I knew, like I said before, when I saw my dress, I knew it was mine, but I would have loved to have worn a really big ball gown or something. I think it was more, that was an unrealistic kind of, I wanted to like look the whole, the princess sort of look, but in the end I went for a very simple, plain lace sort of fishtail style. It was more like a trumpet style. It's not.
Yes.
It's not a really tight fishtail. It's a bit more subtle, but very fitted and so simple. And it was great because I could dance all night, and it wasn't in the way, and it was comfortable.
And that swish where you kick your
swish.
fishtail out.
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
See
isn't that
where-
just-
I tried on fishtail, and I just looked like I was about to fall over. It just didn't suit me at all.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
So
really
I felt
strange.
really frumpy in a ball gown. Felt really frumpy. I think because it just didn't accentuate anything in the right place.
Yes.
Because I'm quite hippie, but
Yeah.
quite small at the waist, so a
Waist.
ball gown just made me look even more hippie and bigger.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It just reminds me of dollies on the toilet.
Yes, that's what
It's
I
not my
It's
sort
a
of style
bit,
at all.
isn't it?
But some girls, you see in them, and you
Look,
think, wow.
Yeah. My
Wow.
sister was in a ball gown, and
Was she?
she just looked incredible. Yeah.
I did a bit of a poll on wedding dresses a few weeks ago, and really and the results were amazing. You know, they were quite definite. They were either for or against.
Yeah.
So clearly, brides do have quite a good connection with what they think they're going to like them or not.
Yes. Yeah, I think you always have an initial idea, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah. So we did a poll as well and said, did you end up with the style of dress you thought you would get? And 51% said yes. 49% totally
close.
different.
So quite mixed.
I'm surprised that I thought that more would say that they didn't end up with something they thought they would get. A bit like you, thought they'd just, get something different. But there we go. Yeah. So moving on now to budget and is it worth it? So Katie Price says her wedding to Peter Andre cost just under £1 million. And she said she didn't enjoy the day because there was too much going on. So do you think that big weddings with larger budgets can sometimes take away from the meaning of the wedding day? And what do you think is too much, Julie?
Oh, I'm not. I just think that big celebrity thing is all for image and...
OK Magazine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or hello.
Yes, yeah.
That's not for them, is it? That's all about image. That's all about selling something out there. You're selling that thing, that wedding.
Yes.
And they do very well for it financially. It's not my cup of tea. It's not for me at all. I want to be able to speak to the people that are there. I want the people that are there people I like.
Yeah.
I want to go away feeling that was just a fabulous day.
Yes.
Not be so exhausted and not having spent, half of the population's income in 1 week.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
I think there's a big thing, isn't there, about what is the purpose of a wedding? It's if you want a big party, have a big party.
Yes.
But it's about the marriage and it's about you as a couple. And I think one of the only good things that has come out of COVID, in my opinion, is people are realising the purpose of a wedding is the marriage. Because a wedding is for a day or a weekend for some people, or sometimes a bit longer, but a marriage is for life. And I think that's a big thing of it's about why are you there. And it's not all about the bravado, and as gorgeous as all these big flash weddings can be, are they happy? Actually, a lot of people just want to spend time with their other half on that day and soak it in. You don't have to spend millions and hundreds of thousands of pounds on a wedding. You can do if you want to, go for it.
If you've got it.
If you've got it, but don't go overboard with it if you can't afford it.
And do want to put yourself into debt as a married couple.
Be still paying off your wedding.
For how long?
Yeah.
I mean, some people, still paying it off when they're getting divorced.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah. Painful.
Yeah. I think you've got to prioritise again, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yes. What's important to you and
Well, I read somewhere that guests always remember the food and the entertainment at a wedding.
And the flowers and the cake.
And the flowers. And
the cake, absolutely. And the flowers.
And the wedding first they went to.
Yeah. So I think you've got to take into account that I think your food and drink has got to be of a standard.
Yes.
And your entertainment, it'd be great to have, I don't know, a band or some sort of live
good
music.
DJ that's not talking over it constantly.
Yeah, you can have really good live entertainment, and not just music related, but you could have photo booths and
magicians. Magicians. Tell what we like, Julie.
Interactive stuff. I love a magician.
I think it's prioritising, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's like I always say to people, you go to a wedding, someone that's not spent on their flowers, for example, as decoration, compared to those that have. But reuse things where you can. Spread that budget out. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Use your bouquets again on the tables because you paid for them. Reuse them. So it's about being clever with it, isn't it? It's like we've talked before, haven't we, Julie, about cake and about how is this correct? You don't have to eat the whole cake. You can have a tray bake and things like that.
Yeah, they can. There's lots of ways of getting around it. I think budget is probably something that there's a whole conversation that can be had about budget, because I don't think people are always very realistic about what they're going to get for their money, and why things cost what they do.
Yes.
So that is a whole other conversation. But I think if you are going to set yourself a budget, then in doing so, make sure you research things. So when you go into it, then you've got an idea from your starting point and what you're going to get for that money.
Yeah.
And then it's about maximising that.
Yes.
And trust us when we tell you.
Yes, trust your suppliers.
Yeah, we know what we're doing.
Trust your
It's our
suppliers.
jobs.
Yeah, we've done it thousands of times.
Yeah, we know what we're doing. We know
And
what we're talking
also
about.
sit down with your partner and work out what exactly. You've got to prioritise what you want and where you want to put your budget.
Yeah,
what is
absolutely.
going to be the thing that you absolutely want, whether it be you've got to have a videographer or you've got to have that really cool photo booth that you've seen everywhere that you really, for a bit of fun. And I think that's what you've got to think about, and then anything else.
I mean, I guess you need to write down all the things you need and then just give them a number as to where they come on your list of priority.
Yes.
And then you my way of thinking would it be to attribute a certain amount of money towards that and think that this is really important. And it's a bit like your dress. I tried one on, but it was £500 over my budget. Well, is that £500 a make or break thing? Can you save that somewhere else?
Which is what I did with my dress. My dress was
exactly.
way over my initial budget in my head, but for me that was worth spending.
Yeah.
That
Did you have to pull back on other areas?
Oh, everything's come out of the flower budget.
Yeah.
But then we just said, right, well, is it going to change things? Is it a make or break? It's make or break, so that's it. We'll find the money from somewhere, we'll pull it from somewhere else. And I have a lot of people come to me with a very unrealistic flower budget, but it's when you look into what things are involved and then people go, actually, I can't not have flowers for my wedding, and I'd rather not have a free bar and people can pay for their own drinks and have the flowers that I need, or I'd rather put my money towards my cake because cake's important, these things. So it is about being realistic with it, and ask people, how much does it actually cost, because you'd be surprised, people haven't got a clue.
No.
So you've got to ask us.
Yes.
It's the only way to find out at the end of the day. But
Definitely.
pay as your money takes your choice as well. Don't always go cheap because you think it's better, because it won't be.
Oh,
you had an issue with that, didn't you?
And I've had that where lots of brides have come to me, 2 weeks before the wedding, where Auntie Mary said she was going to make my cake, and then that isn't happening because Auntie Mary's worked out that she doesn't know actually how to do it properly. Or my best friend's going to do it is another one. And then, on the pictures you see, it's that expectation and reality are two different things. This is my job, and I will do. That's my reputation that's standing there for 5 hours. You want it. That's what you want to be recognised for.
Definitely.
So, and there are going to be people that want to DIY, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what your budget is set at, then that's what you do.
Yes. Yeah.
But don't have a DIY budget and expect the best.
Yes.
Because it won't stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
So did you poll that as well?
No, I didn't. No. Okay, so
Maybe
now
we should do a poll on budget.
Yeah.
Next week, ladies. Next week.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a huge part of the wedding, isn't it? The budget.
It's the third person.
Yeah,
It's
huge.
the wedding.
It's
Your budget determines what wedding you're going to have.
Yeah.
Really. So yeah, there we go. So moving on now. It's tradition that the couple go to bed together on their wedding night.
Hey.
So, what are your thoughts on the new couple going to bed separately? And I'm going to jump in here if that's okay, because my sister has given me permission to tell this story. So her and her now husband Jay pre-agreed prior to the wedding that they weren't going to go off to bed together because Jay's a party animal and they had the venue all night long. So the way he saw it was
Sorry. Free bar, I'm out.
Yeah, he wanted to just make the most of it, and he didn't go to bed till 3 a.m. in the end. Sarah, on the other hand, was in this giant ball gown dress that I mentioned before. She was in agony because it was so heavy, and she actually got bruising, and she was bleeding from the hips because it was so heavy on her. So she was opposite end of the scale, where she'd had dancing, she'd done all of it, and she was knackered. So by 11 o'clock she went up to bed, and bridesmaids had to help her take the dress off and all the rest, put her down to bed, and then Jay joined her at 3 o'clock. But I think that's quite unusual. I maybe hope that's quite unusual, and it is tradition. I think a lot of couples still do like to go off to bed together, because that's kind of...
It's tradition. I mean, we did, but Paul was less than with me in every sense of the word.
As you passed out.
I mean, I managed to get him. I think we had to get up a very small set of stairs, and I had to push him for most of the way. He was flat out. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, he woke up and was raring to go. He was up for a party, thought we were on our way out. Like, I'm sorry, mate, I've been in bed for 2 hours. You had your night's sleep. I just started. So, yes, is it not more common that perhaps the men perhaps have one too many? But I think whatever suits you as a parent. I would like to think, in the ideal world, I'd like to go to the suite, be able to take all your wedding finery off and be able to sit there and chat about, with a glass of something. Yeah. Or a gin.
The reality is, though, that you're absolutely knackered.
See, Carl and I go to bed, we were talking about this the other day, we go to bed together every night at the same time. It's like, right, we sort the dog out, we get a drink each, go up to bed, and then we lie in bed and we chat. That is our time, that and walking the dog is when we talk. And I always say to Carl, and he'll hate me saying this, but my favourite part of the day is cuddling up into his shoulder and falling asleep on top of Carl. Not on top of Carl.
I think he'll take that
in his shoulder.
Maybe that be another topic.
Yeah, you will make me say that. But no, I always fall asleep on Carl, with my head on his shoulder. But our wedding night, no exception, but I know he'll want to go down and be having a cigar with the boys, but no, not happening. Sorry, mate. You're going up there and we are talking about our wedding day.
Yeah, and having that moment and that time.
Saying like, you watch, I'll be too drunk and I'll just stumble with a bucket. But it's that thing, isn't it? It is that thing. It's like, I think it's a lovely tradition. The only thing that gets me is my dad will be like, oh no, that's my daughter. What are they going up to?
Well, he's just missed out on the last few years that you've been living together.
We sleep in separate rooms. But it's that. No, I'm a big traditionalist in that way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But at least Sarah and Jay agreed on it.
Yes.
Before,
That's
rather than there being a big argument. Yes.
Can you imagine if? Well, then she would have disappeared at 11 o'clock, so really she would have been the first cave, so it would have been her fault. She should stay up with him until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so I think you've got to discuss it.
Yes, definitely. So they made the right decision there. Definitely. But I guess every couple's different.
Yeah.
When I did something I never ever thought I would do, and we actually left before the party ended, so I thought I was going to stay to the bitter end. I think it was music off at 1 o'clock. We made it till about 11:30. But then actually got locked out of the bridal suite because we hadn't thought to try and get a key prior to going to the bridal suite. And I was locked out, so I was actually lying on the floor outside the bridal suite whilst John went off to try and find a key. And I remember the band were packing up out of the back door of the venue.
Well, you were lying on the...
I was lying, basically asleep on the concrete, waiting outside the bridal. And they were sort of said, "Are you all right?"
Did you have a bucket?
So then John, but then he went off inside to try and find a key, and he was gone for about half an hour because
he'd gone back to the bar.
He just couldn't get. That was the worst thing, is we were ready to go and we could not get away.
See, in American films, they always have it where they get in the car and it's like, bye, and the can's at the back of the car, and then next thing they're at the airport and they're on honeymoon. Like, that doesn't happen in reality.
No, and also I wouldn't want that, because I'd be feeling like I'm leaving, because we had a lovely breakfast the next morning with the whole family, and I really enjoyed that part of it, because it was like, finally I can talk to you, because the whole of the wedding day was just a blur.
But you're exhausted, and this is 2 years planning for one day that's passed in so quickly, and you just want that next day, I think, to catch up. Quite a few of my brides this year, couples that I've spoken on Zoom, they've wanted a top tier so that they can knit that for themselves. So they're taking that off with them, just a small tier on top, and they want that for the next day.
Oh, that's a nice
they've got
idea.
family that have travelled, so they can meet up and they can have a piece of cake, and that's I think it's lovely.
When you get the munchies. 3
in
the morning. Oh, we've got that cake from Julie over there. Got the
brownies.
munchies.
I'll send you some brownies extra.
Brownies in a bucket.
anything else to add to that?
I don't think so. I think we probably dealt with that subject,
I think
haven't
we did, didn't we? Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. So that's it really
That's it
then
for
for
us.
episode 3.
Have we summed up 3?
We've done 3, yeah.
Gosh,
Yes.
that was a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like that was quite a lot, but...
Dresses and budget.
Yes!
Quite an arrangement.
A lot to cover. But thank you so much for listening, and we will see you for episode 4.
See you
All
later.
right.
See you soon.
Bye!
Bye.